Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. On strike, why NWC workers are protesting leaving Maxfield Park Council declares he is Dr. Peter. And later in sports, Waterhouse moves back to the summit of the... I'm Giovanni Dennis and here are the details. Up first, it appears there won't be a People's National Party runoff in the St. Andrew East Central seat when the incumbent Dr. Peter Phillips steps down from representational politics. Councillor for the Maxfield Park Division Dennis Gordon has declared that he is the successor. He was speaking at a Mother's Day event in his division. Jamaica Maitland has the details.
I can confirm, yes. I have Dr. Phillips' full endorsement.
People's National Party councillor for the Maxfield Park Division, Dennis Gordon, on whether he'll be vying for the St. Andrew East Central seat when the incumbent Dr. Peter Phillips resigns. Gordon, who is chairman of the constituency, says he's also received the nod of approval from current president of the PNP, Mark.
And we do apologize for the technical difficulty with that story. In the meantime, Member of Parliament for Manchester North Western, Michael Phillips, has signalled that he will be running for Vice President of the People's National Party at its annual conference later this year. Last year, Phillips withdrew his candidacy, citing disunity in the party. He was speaking at the Porous Divisional Conference recently. And we now go back to that story with the People's National Party councillor for the Maxfield Division citing he getting the support of Dr. Peter Phillips for the seat when Dr. Phillips resigns.
I can confirm, yes. I have Dr. Phillips' full endorsement.
People's National Party councillor for the Maxfield Park Division, Dennis Gordon, on whether he'll be vying for the St. Andrew East Central seat when the incumbent Dr. Peter Phillips resigns. Gordon, who is chairman of the constituency, says he's also received the nod of approval from current president of the PNP, Mark Golding.
There is a question of continuing the work, ensuring that the organization is strong, and whenever Dr. Phillips thinks it is time to go, then I'll step into the bridge.
Owner of the cleaning company Jackden, the businessman says he has the full artillery to win the PNP stronghold. However, he admits not taking anything for granted.
I expect none, but I don't know who is coming from the other side. But I really expect none from within, on my side, or from my side.
Dr. Peter Phillips won the seat by 759 votes in the 2020 general elections. This was about 54% of the ballots, while newcomer Jamaica Labour Party's Jody and Mary secured 45%.
A recent poll was done, and I am comfortable ahead, but I don't take it for granted. So all the nuances, some of the mistakes made, I am working now to correct those, to strengthen the organization, to be visible on the ground, and continue to reach out to people, to change life, to transform life. That has been my strength, and I will continue to do so.
There's also speculation that Dr. Phillips may demit office before the next scheduled general election. Jamaica Maitland, TVJ News.
To a developing story, employees of the National Water Commission, NWC, are protesting the process of salary review for staff. The action by the NWC workers has caused the island-wide disruption in service. Cody and Barrett went to one NWC branch and filed this report.
Dry pipes this morning came as a surprise to Jamaicans. The reason?
Workers at the National Water Commission have staged a protest this morning for reclassification from the government. As you can see behind me, workers have blocked entrance to the Marasco Road branch, preventing both workers and customers from entering the facility. As it stands now, operations at the facility have come to a full halt until their calls are heard.
We would like NWC, National Water Commission, we would like to know why is it we exempt from out of this? And if we exempt from out of this, what about our reclassification act? We need it, and we need it now because we are suffer a long time. The 4% we give it done long time.
When we say we need justice, you know, hear that? We are feeling a full time now. We are suffer too long. You see me I say? We are come under crisis, and we start the MOU. Hear that? And a be a joking thing. And the pandemic, them give people money, we not get none. we still at work. And what is?
Yes, so now I run like a company, it run like a jailhouse and prison. So that's how I run. Now no rule and no regulation, I back where the company I go.
According to Chief Union Delegate at the National Workers Union, Winston Anderson, a reclassification exercise has not been done at the organization for quite some time.
We are here protesting over an extremely long outstanding issue, which is the reclassification that was due since the last 14 years. 14 long years, and nobody, particularly the Ministry of Finance, has been doing nothing about it. Well, we are expecting that somebody will come and say to us exactly what they intend to do regarding our reclassification.
The protest also came as a surprise to some workers too, who showed up and were confused about whether there would be any work today. In a quick press release this morning, the utility company noted that its management is working to maintain supply delivery whilst negotiating through the Ministry of Labour and Social Security and the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to resolve the matter. It's not known how long workers intend to continue the strike, and the release did not state when its customers can expect to see water being restored to their pipes. Cody Barrett, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, President of the NWC, Mark Barnett, has also reacted to the protest action. He says it's having a severe impact on the delivery of the commodity to the island.
In terms of a timeline to review, we are now in the process of going through that arrangement, which will involve the Ministry of Labour and possible Ministry of Finance. And thereafter, I can give an update as to when normal operation will resume. But as it is now, I can't give that definitive response.
Now, in a post on social media site Twitter earlier today, the NWC advised the public that the unions of the NWC have, quote, without notice, took industrial action to protest the process of salary review for the staff of the NWC. And the opposition is calling for the government to resolve the issues which have led to this morning's protest. Opposition spokesman on agriculture and water, Lothan Cousins, says he is deeply concerned about the latest developments.
It must also be noted that the NWC has a total of 6 unions. And for all 6 unions to agree to take such drastic actions today speaks volumes as to what is not happening at the NWC in terms of the government showing some respect for the workers.
It was also noted that the NWC is not part of the government's compensation review program as it is a commercial entity. But Mr. Cousins says that cannot be so.
You cannot just force things on for individuals, and you can't tell them at the last minute that this thing that you told them would apply to them won't apply to them anymore. And I mean, the NWC workers should be brought under the compensation review. They are not a commercial entity. They're a government-run entity, government-owned. They are not commercial until it is sold, and the opposition is totally against the selling off of the assets of the NWC. So any idea of the NWC being a commercial entity is a clear misinterpretation and misunderstanding of the rules and functions of the Commission.
And it's now time for a break here on the Midday News, but please stay with us. We'll have much more when we return. Welcome back. We're continuing the news. 2 days after Mother's Day celebrations, we hear the story of how quick a response from the police saved the life of a baby and mother in rural St. Ann. Cody and Barrett reports.
Wat Town, a deep rural community in St. Ann, is arguably not accustomed to emergencies. But when one mother cried for help on Tuesday, the police were ready to assist. The child's mother went to a nearby shop while a relative was at home in bed resting with the baby when she felt unusual movements.
I realized I looked down, I looked at the bottom of the bed where my niece was. She was there shocking like this. Head was beating like this and the eye turned over and we didn't know what to do. So I get to jump up off of the bed, didn't even remember that I got surgery 2 weeks ago, not to happen myself. And I grabbed out the baby fast and I was there pleading the blood of Jesus again, so there is no weapon that form against, so that will not prosper.
Upon hearing the cries, the mother, Sandra Jackson, quickly ran home, collected the baby, and ran to the nearest police station.
And then she were bawling for help. And then the only person she saw, and she said, could render assistance was the police. And she just put the baby in the police and said, "Officer, me can't go no more. I want to reach up by the clinic. I need help. My baby niece is dying. I need help." And the police didn't hesitate.
The baby was rushed to the nearest health center, but when efforts to resuscitate the child failed, 2 other police officers were called to assist them further.
And the mother who would have fainted, the mother would have been resuscitated and then had to be placed in the service vehicle along with the baby. The nurse said carrying the baby because the mother was unable based on the trauma that was happening.
Boy, when I time in the police vehicle, me covered because the way how they drive, not even Usain Bolt, no see like them. So them just a rock through the vehicle, them like this. Them just a rock, Mr. Scott say, rock it pan them, and rock it pan them. And we just a go through, so. By the space of no time, we reach at St. Anne's Bay.
The baby was admitted to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital and treated for 3 days. She was released on Thursday. Ms. Jackson explained what led to the baby's seizure.
It's fever. So that's why she go into the seizure. I go up in her head. So if you never turn, she'd die. Now when they did the fever, we gave her some Panadol and it did ease. And the mommy feel with the fever and we gave her a little bit, we just say everything alright, I cool down. So now if the seizure never take her, no, we know so serious the fever was.
We later learned that the mother was traumatized from having previously lost a child at the same age in a similar way. The family of baby Otavia Stanley revisited the Watt-Town police station over the weekend to express gratitude.
I don't know what to say. I'm very proud. I'm grateful to the police, I'm grateful to everybody, and I'm grateful to Jesus. Because if it wasn't them, right now I'd be a mad one.
Cody-Ann Barrett, TVJ News.
And we go to an update now on the NWC protest story we carried earlier. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has called an emergency meeting with the National Water Commission and the unions to discuss the actions taken by the NWC workers this morning. In a statement a short while ago, the Labour Ministry says the meeting is scheduled for 12:30 today at its offices. And it's now time for the Business Minute.
The island will see a further increase in tourist arrivals following a new deal which has been inked with Emirates Airline. It comes following Jamaica's debut participation in the Arabian travel market. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says both the Norman Manley and Sangster International airports have been listed in the airline system with ticket pricing available. The flights are being offered with options over JFK, New York, Newark, Boston, and Orlando. One option goes through the Malpensa, Italy, allowing access to the European market as well.
This is big news for Jamaica because it is a huge achievement, in fact, in opening the most lucrative market in the world today, that of the Middle East. It's exciting for all of us, and Jamaica is going to now be the first Caribbean country to have flights being sold to enable direct access to Jamaica through these.
Massey Holdings suffered a decline in profit for the quarter ended March. Profit for the 3 months was registered at $123 million Trinidadian dollars compared to $125.9 million last year. However, revenue improved. It amounted to $2.9 billion. Massey's various business segments say mixed results for the review period were linked to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody-Ann Barrett.
Time now for the top regional and international stories with Sandy Williams.
In regional news, Prime Minister Belize John Bracino has brushed aside opposition calls for the dismissal of his Minister of Home Affairs Kareem Musa and the resignation of Commissioner of Police Chester Williams amid concerns being raised regarding the crime situation in the country. Prime Minister Bracino says Williams' legal and policing experience serve as an asset in the ruling People's United Party administration's crime-fighting strategy. Meanwhile, Musa said in relation to the request again for his resignation, he thinks Belizeans are not in any way fooled by the noise that is being made. Last year, Belize recorded 125 murders, and in February this year, the country was ranked 5th in Latin America and the Caribbean with a homicide rate of 29 per 100,000 persons. On the international scene in the United States, a female prison guard who went on the run with a murder suspect from an Alabama jail has died after shooting herself as the pair were caught. Vicky White, 56, died in hospital after she and 38-year-old Casey White were arrested in Indiana following an 11-day manhunt. The two had vanished from a prison in Lauderdale County on April 29. They are believed to have been romantically involved. According to officials, they were last seen as she was transporting him to a bogus mental health evaluation. It was Miss White's last day at work before retirement. She had recently sold her home and told colleagues she planned to spend more time at the beach. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
Welcome back. It's now time for the Midday Sports. TVJ Sports understands that Vin Blaine is set to continue in his role as head coach of the Reggae Girls. Our sports department has learned that the JFF Technical Committee met and have decided to continue supporting Blaine as they see no reason for his services to be terminated. TVJ Sports further understands that in the technical meeting, Blaine hinted at resigning in the interest of the program. Blaine's position as coach came into question after 20 players signed a letter criticizing his coaching methods. The Reggae Girls will take part in the CONCACAF Final Round World Cup qualifiers in July, where they'll play in Group A alongside hosts Mexico, Haiti, and Canada. Mount Pleasant withstood a spirited fight back from Alliance United to earn a 3-2 win in the Monday night match of the Jamaica Premier League at the Stadium East Field. Mount Pleasant took a 12-minute lead through Trevante Stewart before Tariq Zimines made it 2-0 in their favour in just the 16th minute. But a Nicholas Nelson double within the space of 5 minutes brought Malines back into the contest by half-time. Nelson's goals came in minutes 32 and 37. The St. Anne-based Mount Pleasant would take the lead once again in the 62nd minute through Daniel Green to take a 3-2 win. Earlier, Waterhouse moved back to the summit after clipping Humble Lion 1-0 at the Stadium East. Leonardo Thomas getting the all-important goal in minute 52. The win saw Waterhouse move to 39 points, the same as the second-placed Dunbeholden, but the Jerusalem-based team are ahead on goal difference. Norwegian striker Erling Haaland is heading to Manchester City next season after the reigning Premier League champions reached an agreement to sign the 21-year-old today. Haaland will join City in July after they activated a €60 million release clause in his contract. Haaland has scored 85 goals in 88 appearances for Dortmund since joining from Red Bull Salzburg in January of 2020. And Liverpool will look to put the pressure back on leaders and the defending champions Manchester City when they play away to Aston Villa in the lone English Premier League match at Villa Park today. The match kicks off at 2 p.m. Jamaica time. A win for Liverpool would see them join City on 86 points, and depending on the margin of victory, they could take the lead in the standings. City currently have a 4-goal advantage over Liverpool on goal difference. Reggae boy Leon Bailey is a doubt for the game as he has been sidelined with an ankle injury. Steph Curry created history with 500 made three-pointers in the playoffs to power Golden State Warriors to a 101-98 win over the Memphis Grizzlies and a 3-1 lead in their Western Conference second-round playoff series last night. Curry scored a game-high 32 points, including 18 in the fourth quarter, as the Warriors surged late to beat the Grizzlies, who were playing without star player Ja Morant. Jaren Jackson had a team-high 21 points for the Grizzlies. Earlier, the Boston Celtics leveled their Eastern Conference semifinal series at 2 apiece with reigning champions the Milwaukee Bucks after a 116-108 road win. Jason Tatum and Al Horford led the way with 30 points each for the Celtics to overcome a 34-point, 18-rebound performance from reigning Finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo. And that's it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Jordan Fort. Giovanni, it's back to you.
Those off-field issues are threatening to take the attention from the performance of the Reggae Girls on the field, Jordan, it appears.
They certainly are, and despite the meeting today and what we've just reported based on our sources, it still seems like there's going to be some amount of working through that needs to take place between the players and the coaching staff.
I think whatever the outcome of this going forward, football in Jamaica and the management of football will perhaps need a review, a comprehensive review.
Certainly, I'll agree with that completely, because both the coaches and the players, they need to be on the same page, and especially heading into such a crucial stage of World Cup qualifying.
Okay, yeah, unfortunate. Well, that's it for the Midday News. I'm Giovanni Dennis. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.